I think that the fact that only one person has ever gone from first overall to Hall of Fame in the Major League Draft speaks to just how hard it is to find talent comparative to other sports. For example, you know almost certainly that the first overall pick is definitely going to be at least an all-star in 99% of the cases. Mainly because you've seen him. He's gone to college, he's gotten all the reps that he needs, he knows how to play the game. That's just not the case in baseball. Like, even a college guy is not a guarantee that he'll ever become anything. Heck, as much as you want to be hyped about the draft, and this year the Orioles, certainly with the first overall pick, Adley Rutschman, you're not going to see him at least for another 3 to 5 years at best, if not longer. And the history of Major League Baseball is littered with first overall picks who never even made it to the majors or made a minimal impact. Meanwhile, you have these stories of people being selected later in the draft that come up and make an impact. Paul Goldschmidt in the 8th round, Albert Pujols in the 10th round, John Smoltz and Mike Piazza in the 40s, which you don't even draft that far anymore. So what does that mean? It means it's a crapshoot, basically. You only know as much as you know, and you don't know if they'll break out as much as you'd expect. Take, for example, Edwin Encarnacion. He wasn't really much of a ball player, decent hitting, terrible defense, till his age 29 season with the Blue Jays, where he finally took off and has become one of the most prolific power threats in all of baseball. You don't know that going into a draft. Why do I bring up Edwin Encarnacion? It segues perfectly into my other point, which is what the Yankees are going to do now that they got Edwin Encarnacion. At first, it seems a curious fit. It's not like the Yankees are hurting for bats. Even with all the injuries, Stanton has just been activated today. Judge is not too far to follow, and once those two are up, basically all the offensive injuries have been mended, except for Troy Tulowitzki and Jacoby Ellsbury, but at this point they're not really needed. So it turns to the pitching side, which is what their need is, and that's why this trade is all the more curious. To make room for Encarnacion, they sent down Clint Frazier, who has more than proven himself with the bat, but has had a few shaky moments in the outfield. And even then, regardless of the fact that he's Major League ready, he's blocked at all the outfield positions and the designated hitter by more proven players. So what this leads to me to believe is that Clint Frazier is going to be dangled around for a top pitching prospect to help placate the woeful pitching needs that have suddenly cropped up for the Yankees. Now, who do I think that they'll trade for? Two targets stand out to mind that would be worth trading Frazier for, and that's Max Scherzer of the Nationals and Matthew Boyd of the Tigers. However, the GM of the Nationals have thrown cold water onto trading Scherzer just yet, saying that they still want to contend the next few years. And while Matt Boyd certainly would fit in a trade on paper, I'm not too keen on someone who doesn't really have a track record of results past this year. The other obvious fit is for Madison Bumgarner of the Giants, but again, while he has the track record and Frazier would definitely have the roster spot, I'm not sure it's worth giving up for a rental all-star player caliber such as Clint Frazier. But again, who knows? Maybe Frazier's defensive woes plague him for the rest of his career, and eventually he's forced to be a DH. That certainly wouldn't help in the National League players' long run, at least until the designated hitter is put into place in those parks. So what does this all mean? Again, it's a crapshoot. We might win on a trade, we might lose on a trade. We won't know for another few years. What I do know is that this episode is over, so what do you think, Joe? I'll see you next time.